Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Albert Black, Guest Experience Manager and Wine Specialist at Tigress Restaurant and Rooftop Bar at the Perry Hotel Naples. Albert brings nearly 4 decades of hospitality experience, having worked at iconic places like Trump National Golf Club, Gallagher Steakhouse, the Oval Room, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and collaborated with world-renowned chefs, including Norman Van Aken, Emeril Lagasse, Jeremy Ford, and more recently at our very own Tigress here at the Perry Hotel with celebrity chef Dale Talde. He combines incredible experience with genuine warmth, creating unforgettable experiences for every guest. Albert, we're so excited to have you here today.
It's great to be here.
Thank you. So I would love to start first with what drew you into hospitality and becoming a sommelier? Sommelier. Did I say that right this time?
You absolutely did. It was haphazard. It was a mistake. And, I guess you could say a twist of fate. 16 years old, the traditional busboy, working your tail off for 12, 14 hours a day. And fast forward about 5 years, your first management position. And my dad calls me up and says, I know a guy and he sells wine and I need you to talk to him because he needs to put some wine in a restaurant. I said, okay, Dad. This fella shows up and that was it. From that moment on, because he sits down and he starts to educate me about wines, and it just ran from there. And I was young, I was a sponge, I ran with it, and I haven't looked back.
That's wonderful. Did any of those early experiences shape your approach to wine and dining?
Yes, because again, in time you meet hundreds and thousands of people, and their experiences flow into what you're doing with them and to them. And you just can't help but absorb outside information, and you listen and you stay humble and you stay a sponge. And people that have traveled the world and people that have traveled outside of my world have taught me a lot just through interaction. And it's just a natural osmosis, and as long as you're young and even at this age, you're curious, it's going to happen naturally. So it just brought me into wanting to know the next and the next and the next. And here we are.
I love it. So before Tigress Restaurant, you worked at various other restaurants. How did those experiences influence your perspective on food and wine pairing?
Well, I've been blessed. I've been exposed to a lot of phenomenal talent that I never thought I would. And again, you cross paths, like just Chef Talde will tell you, or anybody else I've been with. Once you get to a certain realm of talent, no matter what the field or the profession is, everybody seems to know everybody. And before you know it, you're talking to the same level of talent. And every time I'm around somebody like that, like Chef Dale, or when it was, Chef Van Aken or Raymond Hoffmeister, you absorb some of their knowledge. And again, you do more listening than talking. That's why I talk so much now. And you gain their insight, their information, and you just listen and you learn by listening, because I've learned, don't say in a paragraph what you can say in a sentence. So I just do a lot of listening, and all of their specialties, Chef Lagasse, he's got that, Louisiana flair to what he does. Chef Van Aken, he did Floridian. And then you've got Chef Talde, who's teaching me and educating me about the Asian influence of what he does. So you just take it in and then you expose it to the people that you are with tableside. You just pay it forward.
I love that. Speaking of listening and talking, I've heard that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Exactly.
So what lessons might still guide you today over the course of what you did learn that got you here?
You take it and you parlay it into who's with you. And you pay attention to what they're listening to, how they're listening to you. More importantly, and I say this about tasting wine, what they're not saying, what they're not interested in, and again, it's a feel and a pivot and a move at the moment. That's what we do for a living. Right. You make last minute changes and you make last minute pivots, and you just take the information that you learned over the years and you apply it. It's not much different than any other profession. But it's very individualized, literally, because you've got different people in front of you every day.
Wow. The wine list at Tigress Restaurant has become quite the highlight here. What do you believe makes it so special and unique?
Because it's so diversified. And a lot of what Chef Dale does is there's no rules on anything. I mean, we've got Sancerres, we've got Gruner Veltners, we have Cabernets, we have something from just about every continent on the planet. And we are not a wine focused location. So the fact that we've got that diversity in different parts of the world, never mind different parts of the country, again, we have no rules here. So we're able to flex and do different things. And it's still growing. I just met with a 100-point Spectator award-winning winery from California, and they're going to come on board, and we're going to do tasting. So we're evolving and growing in everything that we do. So with an Asian, with a Chinese-focused menu, to take a German wine and put it together with it, that's fun. You have to make it fun, and that's the goal, really.
It's making me thirsty. How do you decide, from all of the wines, and like you said, such an interesting combination, which wine then makes the cut?
You know what? Back to no rules. You typically, when you go in and say, okay, I want to add a wine. Well, what do you need? What part of the puzzle are you looking for? And just like I say to my guests, what don't you like? Because then we're halfway there. Same thing here. You start with, what color do I want? And you taste through, and you don't go by scores on the internet. You don't go by the labels. You cover the labels like a lot of people do at home and have fun. And you just taste through and make sure it works with your food, because we're here to serve people food and wine in that order. So if the wine doesn't go with the food, then you're a wine store. And that's not what we're here. We're here to give you an experience, one you've never had in a dining atmosphere ever. And the only way to do that is to marry the food and the wine.
Sometimes when I'm trying to select a wine, which I'm not very good at, I have to say, I will typically just ask, what's most popular? What do people like? So when people come, what are some of the crowd favorites, or is there one crowd favorite?
Not necessarily. I mean, we've developed a couple of well-followed items on the list. I mean, our Sancerre that's on the list, our staple Sancerre, is probably our most popular wine right now. And the local guests that live here, they've come to it. Sancerre, it's a Sauvignon Blanc, and that's a very popular grape right now, and it's taken off. And we sell more Sancerre in this Asian restaurant than we do anywhere. So it's a progression, and our job is to take the guest and say, okay, this is what you're looking for. Well, yes, they're not asking for labels. So people have actually educated themselves, because they're not looking for a sticker. They're looking for a style, which means sommeliers and managers have actually done their job in graduating people to different levels of knowledge. So it's a great feeling knowing that all of us in the beverage community have been able to do that.
That's great. Sancerre, I have to say, Sauvignon Blanc was something that I would drink. Where's the Sauvignon Blanc list? But now I say in the last year and a half, same for me.
Graduation.
I'm like this. It's the Sancerre. That's what's popular in my life. What about any pairings that might be a little more surprising that guests are loving?
Well, again, back to what I said about the menu. It's a challenging menu to some people. And again, I say the same thing over and over. There's no rules. So I'll take a Gruner Veltner, which is sometimes it's even hard to say, never mind know what it tastes like. But again, that goes back to what's our responsibility, to introduce you to something that you've never had. And it has to be safe. It's not an overly drastic flavor of anything, so it can go well with Asian or Chinese inspired food. So my job is to bring this Gruner Veltner to you, which we've done, and we pair it up with our walnut shrimp dish. The walnuts are actually candied. So you've got a gentle wine with flavor, and then you've got a food item that's a white shellfish that has great flavor in and of itself, and you marry them together, and now you've introduced people to something different like that. And that's taken off so far. But again, it's fun. You have to make it fun. It's fun to take something so drastically different and just bring them together and marry them.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned one interesting pairing. It was a walnut shrimp and how do you say it again?
Gruner Veltner.
Gruner Veltner.
Yes.
From the sommelier. Am I saying it correct?
You are.
So are there any other interesting pairings that you can think of that would surprise guests?
Yeah, actually, yes. We have a 72-hour braised short rib with phenomenal flavor. It's got fattiness to it. We've taken a Petit Verdot, which is a blending grape, and paired that up from Uruguay. So here we are, American beef and Uruguay, putting that together here, no rules. And it's been a phenomenal success. It's a little bit dry. It's black ink. That's what we have in the decanter here. And it's just a masculine wine with a masculine dish with tremendous flavor. And 30 ounces, that's a lot of beef, and it goes really well. People share it, and it feeds an entire table with a great bottle of wine.
Sounds delicious.
So we're having fun with that.
Yum. Speaking of food, pairings, and all of that, if someone's visiting Tigress Restaurant for the first time, what are some of the menu highlights that you'd suggest?
On their way through the building, as they stop through the library and absorb some of our tradition here and some of our very special locations in the building that were dedicated to very special people in our corporation, when they come up and they begin their experience here, first thing that we do is we go through the menu with them and we let them know our highlights. As you said, the slippery noodles have some spice to them. Our walnut shrimp that I mentioned earlier, which is my favorite, and these are items that we're become known for, that have become talkabouts in town that they need to try here. The short rib I mentioned, I brought that up, and I brought those items up because they are items that have become the most popular, the most sought after and asked about. So that's why I highlighted that we're pairing these wines with them, because they're so popular we had to. So those are certainly items that you're seeing either online, in print, or in mention. So yeah, I would absolutely stay with those.
Yum. What about a dish that maybe it's one that you've already mentioned, or maybe not. Is there a dish that you feel perfectly represents Tigress Restaurant?
And I would have to say that it is our short rib, because it is such a success and so popular, for sure.
Interesting. I've been here a few times, loved it every time, and I don't know if anyone's gotten the short rib yet. So,
okay, well, next time you come,
absolutely,
you have to make sure we do that.
Delicious. That's something my husband will like for sure.
Okay.
What about one of your personal favorite wines from the list? Do you have one that stands out to you?
It's almost like you've got all your children and you don't want to say, this one's my favorite. This may sound a little corny, but it's true. We just brought on a winery, actually owned by a family from Naples that is in California. It's Hailstone. And I only mention it because every winery's got a story. And that's what makes it so much fun. But we've got a sparkling wine from them, and they call it ice. It's a sparkling wine. It's not champagne, but it's light, and you add fruit to it and you add ice to it. No rules. You actually put fruit in it, not like a sangria. It just helps with the flavor. It's so much fun. And ice cold, it's great for Florida. It's great for summer. And that's become my favorite. It's a Hailstone, and it's ice. It's its proprietary name.
Hailstone?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. The gentleman who owns it used to do roof reconstruction following storms, hurricanes, hailstorms. So he named his winery Hailstorm. Every wine has everyone's got a story. So in supporting everything else locally, we got together with this gentleman and we carry a few of his wines, but this is the shining star. This is fun.
Here it is.
Yes.
Right there.
Yep. And it's a broken windshield from a hail.
I'm looking forward to tasting that someday.
It's fun.
So how would you suggest that guests best enjoy Hailstone?
Big wine glass, handful of ice, some lemons, limes, and an orange.
Yum.
Keep it simple. And it's refreshing. And, Dom Perignon, he was a friar. Everybody's heard of Dom Perignon. Well, that's a man, and he invented champagne. First time he tasted it, he says, "Come here, I am tasting the stars." You could drink sparkling wine any day, any night. It doesn't have to be a wedding. It doesn't have to be a celebration of birth. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It can just be because it's a good day. And that's why I love it, because we have anniversaries that come here and we have a lot of occasions. We don't give desserts to anniversaries. We give them a glass of sparkling wine.
My kind of guy.
And if we have a mom or we have somebody who doesn't drink, we have sparkling apple cider. So it's fresh and it's sparkling.
Yum.
So
what about if there's some listeners that might be newer to drinking wine, or maybe you're like me who's never really known the proper way to drink wine, you just go for it. Mm-hmm. How would you suggest that people drink wine like a pro?
Well, there's no such thing as a pro drinker. And what I would say is just know what you don't like. And you're halfway there. Because if you don't like red, we're halfway there. And after that, you only know by tasting. And there's no wrong, and there's no rookie or pro. It's just what you enjoy. It's very subjective. And my job and my team's job is to make it approachable and fun. It's got to be fun. And it's really keeping it that simple, because if you overcomplicate it, it's not fun. You're not supposed to think about it. You're supposed to drink it.
So you don't have to swirl.
You can. I do it. It's fun, but it's not a necessity for sure.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because I don't.
I used to spill it a lot.
Bigger glass. Mm-hmm. So I've heard and seen that there is a fantastic brunch that has just recently launched at Tigress, and that is next on my list. Mm-hmm. What are some of the standout dishes and perhaps wines that pair with those dishes?
We have got a bagel tower. Now, I'm from the Northeast, and we do bagels there. We do a lot of bagels there, and we're proud of them. I have never seen what we do here. This is amazing. We actually do a bagel tower of everything bagels with the salmon and the accompaniments. And you can actually, if you'd like, add Ossetra caviar to it. You can build a ridiculous bagel tower. Nobody's doing that. To see it on your table is outstanding. I mean, it's outstanding. So that I haven't seen. That I haven't seen yet. We even have a mimosa tower. So we're doing something for everyone. So those of us from the Northeast come down, we can have our bagels plus. And then you have somebody who really enjoys your brunch cocktail. We've got something special there too. So there's a lot of fun things happening. We're really proud and excited about brunch because it just kicked off about 2 weeks ago. And it's fun. And a lot of the feedback we're getting is that they're enjoying the food and the presentation. And you can take something that's, we're a fine dining restaurant, but it doesn't have to be stuffy. And the way to make something that is exemplary in its presentation and its flavor, and sometimes its pricing, well, it doesn't have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's got to be comfortable. And that's where we come in. We're going to give you that level of dining and service, but we're going to do it with a smile. And you're going to come in and the music's going to be fun, not overwhelming, but it's going to be fun. And that's how you keep the level where you'd like it to be, because we don't settle. We will not sacrifice, and we won't apologize for what we do in order to give you the best experience possible.
Yum. Is brunch available every day or on the weekends only?
It's only on Sundays.
On Sundays.
From 10 to 2 p.m.
Okay. Good to note.
Reservations aren't required, but we highly recommend them.
I can only imagine. Can see some kayakers, by the way, on our lovely view. That sounds like a fantastic experience. So speaking of experience, how would you recommend that people make the most of their brunch experience when they come here?
Bring family, bring friends, and the rest is easy. And I know that may sound like a cop-out, but it's the truth, because you're coming to enjoy yourself. We'll take care of the hard work. And it's almost like when you go on a cruise line. When I was on a cruise line, they would say, "Oh, that was boring." Well, what did you do? Well, you didn't do anything. Well, you have to bring a positive attitude and an intention to have a good time, and we'll take care of the rest. So all you have to do is bring company and people you love, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, you said it before, this balance to creating a high-end experience with brunch or dinner, but also keeping it approachable for everybody to join. So how do you guys do that?
We are consistent. You mentioned that you've been here for dinner, and you haven't been here for brunch yet. And you've been here more than once, which is great because you see our track record and our consistency. And that's the most difficult thing to do in this industry, is be consistent. Anybody that does this for a living will tell you that. Coming here for brunch, you're going to get the same people. You're going to get the same atmosphere. You're going to get the same service level and beyond the quality of food that you get at night. So you're going to have that consistency, but you're going to have a completely different, I don't want to say experience again, but you're going to get a whole different exposure to a whole nother menu that nobody's seen yet. And that's why I encourage anybody who's already been here and they're going to be curious, they're really going to be blown away by what they see, because the menu is like nobody else. I mean, who else does a bagel tower? Like, so it's, again, I mention it again because it's prideful. It's the creativity that Chef Ortiz and Chef Talde have put together here is outstanding. And we're really proud of it, which kind of, it exudes out of them to the guest. And then the guest, it's infectious, it's infectious.
That's wonderful. I can't wait to come here for brunch. I am I will.
Okay.
We will definitely be here.
I'll hold the kayak if you guys come.
Deal.
Okay.
Albert, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us today. From your passion to hospitality and your expertise in wine to creating experiences that are unforgettable, it's clear why you are a leader in this industry. So for everybody that's listening today, be sure to visit Tigress Restaurant and Rooftop Bar at the Perry Hotel Naples to experience Albert's hospitality firsthand. Thank you again, Albert, for joining us.
Pleasure's
Thank
mine.
you.